We have to take a step back. The opposition, the BJP notably, is banking on the corruption issue and is convinced that the perception of the entire UPA as being corrupt is something that has been bought by the electorate. Now, one can begin to question that perception. I think there are serious doubts about that. The strategy that it has evolved is to defame, to pitched against delivery, better delivery of public goods, of social welfare, where the people say, all right, we've heard of all these things, but we are doing better. And so I think we sometimes get carried away by Delhi drawing room conversations on how much it matters to everyone.
Clearly, Mr. Gandhi, the government is well within its rights to claim credit for some of its policies. For instance, the direct benefits transfer, or for instance, the Manrega, right to education, right to information, the national
spectrum story. Will that dilute the impact? You know, as far as corruption is concerned, a large number of people, and middle class is disgruntled. Middle class had voted for the UPA in 2004 and 9. Today is looking away and looking at the BJP, Narendra Modi phenomenon. We still have to wait to see whether he'll be projected as PM candidate. But large number of people say they're all of a kind as far as corruption is concerned. But as far as the economy is concerned, the rising prices which have hurt people and made them angry, and the connection that they make between rising prices and corruption, you know, here are politicians lining their pockets, here are us who have to pay, go to the, which is their strong point, and able to really convincingly with credibility project that. I think they may be able to, as I say, cut their losses, and who knows what the outcome will be.
Right, Professor, on the economic front, the Prime Minister did mention that the UPA had achieved inclusive growth and poverty had actually come down, and the current
figures and the unemployment figures are less important than the inflation, the prices. And I think on that front there is good news that the prices are coming down. The corruption issue is being banalized, it's being routinized. Now you say the corruption has come into cricket. So for weeks you will talk about corruption in cricket because it becomes an issue which then it levels the playing field in a sense. All fields, all politicians, then you say, okay, what next? And I think that is where the question will come up. And as said earlier, that a lot will depend on the strategy of the opposition and how if they keep plugging this single point agenda, which they have been doing for almost 1 year now, and it is not really showing that much of an effect, then the internal divisions will
rise for the BJP. But if you look at the most recent election, you know, Karnataka, that is not something that has happened. You know, the JDS has you know, surprised everyone, including the BJP. So if there are lessons, you know, in that election for the BJP, there are also lessons for the Congress. But as far as this third front business is concerned, you know, do you see the BSP and the SP coming together in any sort of a formation? Or do you see the left and Mamta coming together in any sort of a formation? No. Do you see the AIDMK and DMK feasible idea? So you have, so what you have is actually the UPA versus the NDA, and the BJP also realizes that if the Congress gets 150 seats, it's easier for it to, you know, put together an alliance. For the BJP, it has to get 180 seats to be able to put together a formidable alliance, you know, in the form of an NDA. So these are all factors that you know, the opposition's strategy must look at.
But Ms. Chaudhary, amidst all this gloom, there is a silver lining. The victory in Karnataka, for instance, the Congress did very well there.
Yes, that has heartened it, and earlier in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. Karnataka is also very interesting from the point of view that though the urban middle class seems to be moving away because of these scams. Bangalore also, the Congress breached, their bastion as the metro city. So, what the question that then comes up is the general election going to be an aggregate of state elections, or is it going to be a national kind of election, a presidential kind of election, which the BJP would like to make it? Project Narendra Modi as an alternative. This side, there is no one clear alternative. It's the Congress party. Therefore, they are on a slightly weaker wicket. Go for corruption. And
Gandhi, now, if you could focus on the road ahead for the UPA, the next 1 year, how do you think it is going to be? What are the challenges ahead?
See, first of all, the legislations, can they try and bring the necessary legislations, can they get them passed? The BJP, as of yesterday, they were saying they are going to allow, the passage of the food security bill and the land acquisition bill in parliament. But we know the BJP, I mean, the moment they get an opportunity, some sort of an opportunity, they are going to disrupt parliament again. So, what about the Lokpal bill? If you have to counter this perception of corruption, and you can make speeches about being serious about tackling corruption, but if you cannot give the Lokpal to this country before
go back to forging alliances in the current situation. Now they are having back channel talks with RJD and Ramvilas Paswan's party in Bihar. They're also having back channel discussions with Nitish Kumar. But either way, whoever they choose as an ally in Bihar, should they try and woo back Mamata Banerjee? Should they try and woo back DMK?
Okay.
Should they go and bring Jagan Reddy in Andhra to their fold? There are many, there will be smaller parties. Do they go on the alliance route once again? That is a question that remains hanging out there.
That's an interesting question. Professor Arora, the UPA is down to key constituents, the DMK and the TMC. 3 others, other coalition partners have also walked out. How do you think it's going to go about forging alliances?
I think the Congress has the strength of picking up small number of seats from a large number of states. So when you get the final total, as opposed to the BJP, which has a very geographically concentrated thing. So the first indication we'll have is this autumn, October, December, when states where the BJP is strong are due to go to the polls. Now, partnership building and alliances, while every party and the Congress keeps saying it for boosting morale of its state cadres, that eventually we want to govern on our own. But I think they are more realistic that it will need, they will need partners, and they will need to talk to, if they succeed in putting the BJP in second position, they have a fairly good chance of pulling together another alliance.
Mr. Gandhi, the biggest challenge according to you?
See, as far as the arithmetic is concerned, the Congress always does better than the BJP for reasons listed by this panel. It's the perception battle really that they have to, which will affect the number of seats that they get and the number of seats they do not get, which go and fall into the BJP's lap. So this is actually what they have to curtail. So perception is something that they have to, the battle is really the perception battle that they have to fight over the next 6 to 10 months.
Okay, the perception battle, you think, Ms. Chaudhary?
Yes, I think the restoration of its lost credibility is the biggest challenge before them today.
All right, so how does India at large view the performance of the government in last 4 years? We shall only know in a year's time when people speak. Till then, for the people out there and the media, they'll have to decide for themselves. On that note, it's time for me to wrap up this discussion here. I'd like to thank all my guests for coming to the studios. It was a pleasure having you all here. That's it for now in this edition of Insight. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.